Good morning, children. Good morning. I have missed all of your little faces. I miss the hugs. I miss holding your little hands. This morning, we are going to be reviewing just a little bit of Joseph. Joseph is a huge character in the Bible. He has a life that just continued through Genesis, and that's where we are again today. So we are reviewing Joseph, going to go into some new stuff on Joseph, and we will not even we won't even finish him today. So we'll have to continue next week. Well, we have spent the last 3 months studying Genesis. Does everybody remember who Joseph is? He was the son of Jacob and Rachel. And I bet you all remember how many brothers he had. There were 11 of them. Joseph was the firstborn son of Rachel, and he was Jacob's 11th son. He was also Jacob's favorite. I know each and every one of you are mom and daddy's favorite out there, so we don't have to worry about any competition there. Jacob gave Joseph a special gift, and I know we've talked about this in class, and that special gift was a coat of many colors. Well, Joseph's 11 brothers, they weren't very happy. They were actually very angry with Joseph, especially after Joseph came to him and said, "Hey guys, I had a couple of dreams last night. One of the dreams showed you and I all going into the field, getting the wheat together, and then your wheat bundles bowed down to my wheat bundle. And the second dream showed the sun being the father, the moon being their mother, and 11 stars being all the brothers, and all the pieces bowed down to Joseph." Well, his brothers thought that he was trying to say he was so much better than they were, and these brothers were all older than him. Well, at this time, they were so angry, they actually began to plot to kill him. Imagine being so angry at their little brother that they wanted him dead. Well, one brother by the name of Reuben said he came to Joseph's defense. He said, "Let's just drop him in this hole. We'll just teach him a lesson." So the other brothers took that opportunity where Joseph was down in that hole, and they saw a caravan of camels coming across the sand that was traveling to Egypt. They got the brother out, and they sold him to this caravan. I can't imagine the pain that Joseph was in, knowing that his brothers had done this to him. But then they did something that would hurt the father even more. They took the coat and they rubbed goat's blood on it. They brought it back to Daddy and they gave it to him. And so, of course, Daddy thought that Joseph had been killed. Does it seem like Joseph was having a good life? Does it seem like he was having fun? I believe we can all see that Joseph is not a happy person. He has been taken away from everything he has ever known, his family, his friends, his house, animals, pets if he has them. And it wasn't strangers that did this to him, it was his own brothers. Have you ever felt that things weren't going your way? That nothing seems to be working out? Well, things get worse for Joseph. He's sold repeatedly as a slave, and then he ends up in jail. But there's something he continues to do, something that we've talked about, we talk about a lot. He continues to trust in God. He talks with God, and God talks with Joseph. How does God talk to Joseph? I know we've talked about this too. How does he talk to him? He talks to him through dreams. Those dreams he had with the wheat and the moons and the stars, God was talking to Joseph. But now things are getting ready to make a big turn for this young man. Not only does God talk to Joseph in his dreams, but he gives him the ability and the wonderful gift to know what the dreams mean. I've had dreams before, many, many dreams, and I know you dream, and I hope all your dreams are good dreams. But have you ever wanted to know what in the world did that mean? What in the world did that mean? Well, Joseph was able to also interpret dreams for others. And while he was in jail, and then again after he was released, well, the Pharaoh, he was the kind of the head guy in charge in Egypt, had a dream, and he told this dream to his advisors, and he wanted them to interpret it for him. What does this mean? And they couldn't do it. Then someone remembered, there's this guy sitting in jail, and he can interpret dreams. He knows what God is saying. He knows what these dreams are about. Well, the dream kind of went like this. There were 7 lean or very skinny cows, and they ate 7 very fat cows. The dream went on. There were 7 withered, dried up ears of grain, and they devoured 7 fat ears of grain. Well, Joseph told the Pharaoh that his dream meant that there would be 7 years of abundance where the crops are all growing, everything is gorgeous, lots of rain, everything is doing well, but that would be followed by 7 years of famine. Drought would come into the land would stop producing, there would be no crops. With no crops, there's no grain. You have no grain, you can't make bread. You have no bread. Back then, bread was a huge thing in those countries because you could keep it where fresh vegetables and things wouldn't keep as long. Well, Joseph then advised the Pharaoh to begin storing up grain. Well, because he was able to interpret the dream for Pharaoh, Joseph became an officer in the Egyptian empire. You think about this. He's not Egyptian. He's not part of the household of Pharaoh, but he's made a very, very important officer in their empire. Because he knew God and trusted God through everything that he had been through, being down in that hole, being taken out and sold into slavery, to have someone to lie about him and send him to jail and to spend many years in jail. He never gave up trusting God. Well, in this job that he had in the Egyptian empire, he had the storehouses filled to capacity during the 7 years. To everything that came in, everything to be stored up, he had it done. And when the famine came, it was so severe, so bad, that people from surrounding nations came to Egypt to buy bread. Imagine having to get on your camel and travel down to Florida to pick up dinner, to buy your groceries, to get your bread. This is what they're doing. They were traveling from other countries into Egypt to get their food. Well, the people went straight to Joseph. Joseph was a powerful man. And when they came to Egypt, they knew that's the only place that they were going to get grain because this famine just covered a huge area. Well, all of the people in Egypt, all except the priests, sold all their property. And later on, they even sold themselves into slavery just for seed. So imagine they have nothing. The land they own, now they have to trade it for seed. And then they have to trade their lives. They have to give in and be somebody who's going to be a slave for somebody else so they can get seed and plant it in their ground. So they do. But now, because Egypt owns all the land, 1/5 of everything they grow has to be given to Pharaoh. And this went on for many, many years. Boys and girls, we're going to stop right there with Joseph today. We're not going to go any farther. Next week, we're going to hear the rest of Joseph's story. Will he continue to work for the Pharaoh in Egypt? Will he continue to trust God? What do you think? We'll see you next week. I miss you all and I love you all. Bye.